If there's one thing you need to know about Morgan Freeman, it is how much he hates being saddled with race-based political viewpoints just because of his skin color. But just 2 weeks ago, The View invited him on the panel, only to do great injustice to his presence on the show in every way possible. First by only having him on for the mere 5 minutes, and then trying to steer the conversation to political waters while talking about his new documentary. Let's just watch and you'll see.
There have been, if I remember correctly, 6 extinction-level events on the planet since life began. I mean, 6 times. Large portions of life. Not human life we're talking just life. Gone, destroyed. We're headed for another one. Scientists have said if we don't hurry up and change our ways, there's going to be a cataclysmic event that will wipe many of us off the face of the earth.
The View is walking a thin line here with Morgan Freeman. It's intriguing because this documentary, Life on Our Planet, as well as the one about Black history they talk about next, are very easy to take into a political direction, with environmentalism and race relations. But just to pick apart the doomsday scenario being painted here, as it regards to climate change, we need to take a step back. The idea that we're entering an extinction-level event like the ones that destroyed the dinosaurs happens once in tens or hundreds of millions of years. Climate change caused by human industrial activity, what's also called anthropogenic climate change, has only become a factor in the last 200 years. Now granted, there certainly is a shift in the environment, but it's important not to be swept away in apocalyptic scenarios. Even the most liberal estimates of global warming put the number at 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. That's not very small and certainly deserves our attention. But I just feel like these stats don't fit very well with a modern environmentalist worldview that is almost turning anti-human and anti-growth in its approach and ideas. And that's what you see on this panel.
It is because life is tenacious. Life. We're not talking about human beings here. We're talking about the planet.
Yeah.
She'll stay.
Yeah.
Well, it's tenacious if we would just leave it alone. Leave it alone. The human interruption of all of that is what's causing all the problems. I hope that it's not too late.
See what I'm talking about? Making the planet and the environment as primary is bound to lead you to seeing humans as a destructive force on it. That's the common talking point on the far left of the environmentalists that Joy Behar has just repeated. You could tell that it's not the direction that Morgan Freeman wanted to take, and it's not the reading of his documentary that he would have liked. The fact is, more than 99% of all living species that have ever existed on Earth have gone extinct in the 4.6 billion years in its existence. Life will come and go, but the planet is as resilient and adaptable as anything can be. By the way, I'm not even kidding when I say that a strand of the pro-environment movement has turned anti-human. There's literally a new sprouting movement online that calls for voluntary extinction of the human race to save the planet. Just goes to show how even the best of ideas that all of us should be able to get behind can quickly turn extreme and untenable. I don't want to be in that camp, and clearly neither does Morgan Freeman.
I want to ask you about a different documentary.
Go ahead.
As some politicians around the country try to erase Black history, you're making sure people don't forget vital parts of our past, including this documentary that you executive produced called 761st. Did I get that right? Yeah, 761st Tank Battalion, the original Black Panthers, about the first Black battalion to fight in World War II.
First Black Armored Battalion.
Yes.
You can just sense that slight tinge of tension in the panel at having such a senior artist correct them and not be all in with their reading of his recent work. I think that's why the segment was cut short as well, because I cannot imagine inviting someone like Morgan Freeman into the studio for a meager 5 minutes of speaking time. And Sunny Hostin just did the same thing here with the documentary on Black history that Joy Behar did with the one about life on Earth. That is trying to make Morgan Freeman an unwilling avatar of a certain social message that he did not intend.
And start in the 40s and move up. And how many times did I see black people in the movies? And if I did see them, what were they doing?
There were servants. They were always. I know it's appalling.
I can give you the name.
If you watch old movies, Betty Davis movies are particularly, even though she's great, and
it's the period.
It's not her fault. It's the period.
Made.
It's upsetting to watch. Tell you the truth.
It shouldn't be that way because somebody did make money.
Yeah.
And there it was. That's the time.
It's simple. You can't make someone feel like a victim if they don't want to be. That's what I like about Morgan Freeman. If you don't believe me when I say how he doesn't like to be a victim, take a look at this old interview on 60 Minutes.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Nobody on the panel can even disagree with him on it because he's lived through it all. I mean, the man was born in 1937. He's 84 now, and he's observed how far this country and culture's come. That's what lends so much weight to everything he says. Art is a product of culture, and just as culture is in constant change over time, so does the art that springs from it. It would be a missed opportunity and a disrespect to the artists that have come before to criticize them through a modern moral lens. I'm sure that's not what Morgan Freeman wants for himself either when he is remembered in history.